I was born in a castle built of moonlight and beauty, where silence filled the marble halls and everything gleamed with expectations too heavy for a child to hold. My name has always echoed louder than my voice, until you, with hands that touched the world like it was tender, not something to conquer. I remember the first time I saw you, not because the air stilled or the world shifted, though it did, but because you smiled like it hurt, like the sun had landed on your face, and decided to stay. And in that moment something in me began to hum, a quiet song I'd never been taught but somehow knew, a melody not of crowns or ceremonies, but of warmth, of something human and whole. I watched you from behind stained glass eyes, unsure if a girl who signs laws could dare to dream of a love like yours. But still, I dreamed. And in dreams I was not a princess. I was just a girl hearing the sound of your smile echo through my ribs like a drum. You made the gardens bloom differently, you know. The roses grew bolder, redder, as if competing with the blush you summoned in my cheeks, with just a look. And oh, how you looked. Not at my title or the careful posture I held like a sword, but at me, at the girl who danced barefoot in her mind, who traced your name into fogged mirrors and whispered it into silk pillows like a prayer. I kept you in secret letters, written under moonlight and hidden between treaties. You were the poetry I never dared speak aloud, the ink-stained wish on parchment hearts. Every time I heard your laughter, it folded time, took me away from the centuries stacked upon my shoulders and returned me to something new, something soft. You made it easy to forget the weight of my name. You made it hard to breathe when you weren't near. I used to fear what the world would say, but I fear more the days when I can't hear the sound of your smile. You don't know the way your voice curves around my name, how it makes it something beautiful, not just important. I've heard my name in ceremonies, in newsreels, in whispered gossip, but never like when you say it. When you say it, it becomes alive, and I, who was sculpted from tradition, feel like fire, not the kind that destroys but the kind that warms kingdom. You've never asked me to stop being who I am, never flinched at the ghosts of history walking beside me. Instead you reach through them and take my hand, steady and certain. I memorize the way your fingers wrap around mine, the silence that sits comfortably between us, and the wind that always seems to follow you like a second heartbeat. When you walk into a room, I exhale, I let go. And sometimes when we are alone and the world is asleep, I say your name into the darkness just to hear how it changes the air, just to feel the weightlessness it brings, just to remember that I am allowed to love you, even if I never get to say it where the world can hear. There are nights when I imagine a life not written in royal ink, where I do not have to rehearse my every word, where loving you isn't a careful rebellion. In that life we wake in the same sunlit room, and I reach for you without thinking. We move through cities hand in hand, not as curiosities, but simply as two souls who found each other in the noise. You tell me jokes and I laugh without thinking of cameras. I kiss you in public and no one gasps. But even if we never live that life, I will still choose you in this one. I will find ways to write you into the margins. I will build moments like secret gardens, hidden from the world but blooming wildly, just the same. And even if I must speak of you in riddles, cloak our story in metaphor, I will still write it. I will still sing it. Because the sound of your smile has become my favorite anthem. More powerful than any hymn sung in cathedral halls. More real than any crown ever laid upon my head. I never believed in fate, not really. My world has always been too carefully managed for something so unruly. But you are the chaos I crave, the wildness I wasn't allowed to touch, but somehow did. You arrived like thunder wrapped in kindness, like rain falling on ancient stone, soft but undeniable. You see me, not the curated image, not the royal portrait, but me, the girl who sometimes doubts her reflection, who dreams of disappearing into crowds, who aches to be held without ceremony. You hold me like that, without pretense, without fear, and I would trade every jeweled tiara, every polished floor, every rehearsed speech, for the way you say, "Hey, you okay?" in a voice that makes me think, maybe I am. You never asked for any part of this me, the weight, the hidden life, and yet you carry it so effortlessly, like you were born knowing how to make a queen feel like just a girl in love. I think that might be your magic. You make impossible things feel ordinary, like love, like us. If I could bottle time, I would pour it all into the moments we've shared. That 1 hour in the gardens where you quoted Neruda and made my heart forget its lineage. The time your fingers brushed mine under the long table, and I thought I might cry from just that. How is it that something so small, your laugh, your look, your sigh, can rearrange my entire world? I live among monuments built to last centuries, but your smile, it carves its own legacy. It writes its name into my skin, it haunts mirrors, it plays in my ears when I am meant to be regal and composed. And sometimes when I'm dressed in silk and beauty, I picture you walking into the room, not to bow, not to perform, but just to stand near me. And in that single breath I remember I am still alive beneath all this history. I am still a girl in love, I am still yours. There's an ache in loving you like this, quietly, beautifully, secretly. But there's also a grace in it. You've taught me that not all grand things need an audience, that intimacy lives in glances held too long, in unsent messages, in breaths taken between sentences. I collect you in pieces, in the way you speak my language without needing to know the words, in the way your shadow stays longer than your body does. I don't need a kingdom to tell me what love is. I have you, and maybe one day history will forget us. Maybe we'll be a footnote, a whisper, a maybe they will. But I will remember. I will remember the boy who smiled like sunrise and held me like I wasn't made of breakable things. I will remember the sound of your smile louder than any national anthem. I will remember even when I am old and grey and have told the world all my stories, but ours I will keep. Ours I will guard like treasure. Because some loves are too sacred to be spoken in full. And if I must love you in silence, I will do it well. I will write your name in the steam on palace windows. I will let your memory live in the folds of royal gown. I will build our cathedral in dreams, where I am not heir, not symbol, not lineage, but just girl, just lover, just yours. In that dream there is no crown heavy on my head. Only your hands on my shoulders, your breath in my ear, your smile against my skin. You say you are no one important, but to me, you are the poem I waited my whole life to hear. You are the home I never thought I could have, and though I cannot promise forever in the way others do, I promise you this. As long as I breathe I will carry your smile in me. It will guide me when the nights are cold and long. It will remind me who I was before I became someone the world named. It will remind me of you, of love, of what it means to be whole. And when they tell stories of my reign they will speak of policies, of wars avoided, of treaties signed. But no one will know that the true peace I made was the one inside myself, the one born the moment you loved me, without needing me to be anything but yours. No one will write of the way your laughter stopped my tears, or how your absence felt like winter, or how every time you walked into a room, I forgot the world was watching. I wish I could crown you with all the love I feel. I wish I could kneel before your kindness, the only throne I have ever truly desired. I wish, but no, I will not wish. I will write, I will remember. I will wait if waiting is what love demands. And in every moment I cannot touch you, I will still hear it, the sound of your smile, the one that undid a princess and made her, for the first time, a woman in love.